Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Upset Podcast. This evening, we are talking about in service to God and man, Christians in the military. Coming up next. Hello, once again, welcome back to the Upset Podcast. We're so happy that you have tuned in on this Sunday evening, and I'm happy to be joined by these two distinguished gentlemen. What's up, guys?
Somebody else came in?
It's you, distinguished gentlemen. How are you all? How are you feeling?
Feeling all right. Feeling all right. I had the privilege of preaching at one of the old line Baptist churches. As a matter of fact, this church had a sister relationship with Ebenezer. They used to do the Messiah together every year, and it was really a beautiful, beautiful service. And
nice.
it was just a
Have
great
you spoken
time.
there before?
I've spoken there before, yeah.
Oh, you got invited back. That's good.
Yeah. I guess they found out I work cheap. So
love it. Oh, what about you, Keenan? How was your weekend? How was Sabbath at Shiloh?
Yeah. Everything was good. God is good.
all the time.
All the time.
God is good.
All the time. God is good. Yeah. We had a good time. Good time yesterday. With the Saints, and we got a new ministry where we're giving out. Where we opened up a food bank, and so we're in the city. So Sister Whitfield, our fearless leader, she's definitely doing an awesome job, her and the team.
Yes.
So hopefully we can keep that going.
Yep. In times like these are the ministries that are kind of helping everybody out. So you guys are doing it for sure, for sure. And of course, we were just talking about the fact that last night we celebrated the 80th. This was the culminating event of our year-long celebration of the 80th anniversary of our parent conference, Allegheny Conference, and it was a great gathering of people from all over our conference, and it was great to see everybody. I mean, the room that we had was a capacity of 400 people. I'm pretty sure we had 400 people. At least we had 42.
That's excellent. That is excellent.
And it was great, and I got to meet some of our listeners. I love it. It's like probably my favorite thing in the world for people to come up and introduce themselves and share how much they enjoy watching the podcast. And they're asking, is anyone else here? And I was like, well. So Marlena was able to be there. So I hope they saw her as well.
So what was the highlights?
The highlights from the gala. Well, when people came in, let me just give you a quick synopsis. When people came in, we had like a little cocktail hour with some hors d'oeuvres.
You guys are drinking cocktails.
That's why Marlena's not hitting though.
We had a photo booth where people could take their pictures from the step and repeat and kind of get their little printouts, and even have it, emailed. You guys know how those events work. So those were nice. I was looking through I'll probably put some of those on social media of people at our photo booth, so you can just kind of see the variety of couples and individuals we had there in attendance. And then we opened up to the ballroom. This was an opportunity for us to celebrate some pillars in our conference. So we were able to recognize an evangelism pillar, the late Walter Pearson, for his contribution to evangelism within our conference and beyond. And the pillars we use are the same pillars that were part of our current strategic plan. So it was evangelism, it was wellness. We recognized Audrey Booker. Those who know Audrey Booker know that she served for several years as a nurse at Pine Forge Academy, and also worked very closely with Fit for You, and also during camp meeting, being in charge of health services. And then we recognized our youth stewardship pillar, which we recognized our own VP for finance, Lawrence Martin. He was our stewardship pillar. And we had youth. We recognized the late Daniel Davis. So his daughter was there to accept the award. And she shared with me that this year would have been his 100th birthday.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool. You know, we hear Camp Danny Davis all the time, but some people don't even know who the man is. And so it was great to be able to highlight him. And lastly, our education pillar was Dr. Carol Cantu. She was the first female superintendent. She was very instrumental in starting some of our schools, G. Peters being one of them. And so those were our pillars. But then we also recognize leaders. These are like young leaders who are up and coming. And so we had 4 of those. Maxwell Brown, who's at West Philadelphia Church. Alandia Howe, who was a teacher at Sharon Temple. And we had Gwen Marie Davis Hicks, who is a lawyer in Maryland. And lastly, it was Pastor Alvaro Orozco, pastors in Manassas, Virginia. So it was nice. It was nice for people to hear about those who have kind of led the way, and then those who are coming and forging a path forward. And then we had a comedian. Vince's love to laugh, just in case anyone didn't know that. Enjoy laughter, right? So the comedian was great. And
tell us some of his jokes, Latasha.
I can't butcher the man's stuff, right?
He really is funny though.
He has some good ones,
and he's clean and he's funny.
Yeah. He talked a lot about his son, which was funny because a lot of people could relate, and even like what it's like to get older, 40s and 50s, and things, and even he talked about some of the things the men go through when he visits the doctor.
Did he talk about the proctology exam?
Oh yeah, talked about that.
That is really funny.
Yeah, and it's funny because I've heard so many describe it that way that it was like I felt like I
felt violated.
Yeah, but
no, they don't have to do that no more. They do a blood test now.
No, the blood test is just preliminary. But if it gets serious, they got to go up there with
gloves. Come on, Keenan, the gloves. Come on.
Be grateful, man. In the old days, they used to send a sketch artist up there to look at things and draw it. Now at least you know.
Hello, Brother Mike Williams. Saying hello to the people. Thanks for being here, Raphael. Yeah, always good to see you. Hello, Rodney.
Hey, Reverend Doctor.
Thank you. 80th.
Oh, Keenan. Oh, the 80th birthday.
Yes. Sister Donna. I saw Sister Donna at the gala. Yes. I was laughing so much. My cheeks hurt, as they say. It was good to be.
Yeah.
And hello, Aiden. And Danny Davis was one of the counselors when you attended junior camp. Wow. He was a counselor. And look how he grew into the ministry beyond that after becoming a counselor. So
Danny Davis was my guy.
Yeah, you remember him well?
Oh, extremely well. I mean, I cut my teeth in the Allegheny East managing the youth tent. 1975, 76. Yeah.
Really?
Keenan, don't you say I wasn't born yet. Don't you say it. Don't you say
it. He was like, can't relate to any of those.
Those were glorious. Those were glorious days in the youth tent, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. But it was a good time. I don't have my phone. There was something I saw that I was gonna share with you guys, but I left my phone somewhere else. But no. Whoa! Look who we see here.
Oh,
the girl's gonna say it for you, Keenan. Miguel said he wasn't even thought of. No,
It's very challenging to know that I could be the father of almost everybody who does the podcast.
You go with this, then?
No, I'm just being older. It's
older and wiser.
Child out there, Tyler. What are you saying?
What are you keen like 42, something like that?
Oh, God bless your heart, Tally.
Oh, you got on his good side now.
Yeah, I'm 47.
47. Yeah, I'm old enough to be your dad. I expect some respect from you, you young whippersnapper.
Lord have mercy. Lord have
Nothing
mercy.
but that.
Hey, Havis.
Hey, what's up, Havis? Good to see you too at the
Praying
gala
for you,
last
Havis.
night.
Praying for you. We know that you got a pastor that's difficult. Hey, look, Dr. O'Rourke is doing an extraordinary job with the conversations being held out of Oakwood with Pelk. He has. I appreciate the direction that his mind takes. I mean, he thinks outside of the box and demands that you think beyond yourself to transcend the limitations of your own opinions. And Dr. O'Rourke, I just want to thank you for what you bring to the table for all of us, man. And we appreciate the fact that you tuned in.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I can see you all having a great conversation.
And we've never had a conversation.
Are you serious?
Never had a conversation.
We got to make that happen.
We have to fix that.
Yeah, Sister Don, 45 years you've been with Allegheny East. Wow. That's impressive. Yeah. That's impressive. Hello, Miss Rosalie Van Putten. And he thanks you for your kind words, Tally. So nice.
Easier to say, easier to speak truth, you know. Easy to tell the truth.
That's right. Okay, guys, you guys know last Monday, I'm laughing. Last Monday we celebrated Veterans Day, and I got so tickled. I got up that day and I was going about my business and getting ready to leave. And my husband was like, "Where are you going? You have to work today?" I'm like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I have to work today?" He's like, "It's Veterans Day." I'm like, "Oh, we don't get that day off." But it definitely brought to mind that this is definitely a day that we want to pay homage to because there's so many people who have literally put their lives on the line for us. And it's only fair that we acknowledge that in some way. And so tonight we have our own veteran here among us, Dr. Keenan Tyler. And he's going to kind of lead us into a discussion. We've tip-tapped on some of these topics before in terms of some of the challenges that come with some people who are Christians and their belief system versus some of the things they're required to do and some of the courses that people have taken. But also tonight we also want to look at some of the opportunities it gives Christians who serve in the military. So go ahead, Dr. Tyler, and open up the conversation for us.
All right, sure, absolutely. And it's a happy belated Veterans Day to all of our veterans. Now, I do not have a PowerPoint like Tally, so we're just going to get right into the discussion. So the first thing is that being in the military, you know, some may say it can cause a moral fog, cause a moral fog. And how do Christians navigate it? You know, most people automatically think like Desmond Doss. I'm sure Desmond Doss. He was what's the word? Objective. I forgot the word.
He was a conscientious objector.
Yes,
objective, right? He didn't want to take nobody's life.
Right.
But you know the famous story, Just One More. He saved all those lives. So some people think that it's all about killing. Should you kill? Shouldn't you kill? Or whatever, but there are other things that come up that can, cause Christians to pause. One of them is obeying your orders that you don't agree with. So if you're given an order that you do not agree with, as a Christian, what should you do? In the military, you're taught to follow the last command. You just got to do it. But if you're given something, the order that goes against your morals, what should you do as a Christian? You signed on the dotted line, you swore in, but now you're given an order that you may not agree with. What do you do? What do some Christians do? Then okay, Latoya, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to ask that because you said you signed on the dotted line. Now, I've never enrolled in the military at all. And are there certain disclaimers or things that they tell you ahead of time that you have to sign off on that you're agreeing to?
Oh no. no, there's nothing in the small print. No, basically, when you sign that dotted line, you
Anything.
become property of the military. Now I was not a wholehearted Christian before I joined the military. I really got serious about God while I was in the military. But yeah, when you sign that dotted line, that's it. They tell you to go here, you got to go, or you got to get out. You just got to get out the military. One of the two. But what about corrupt leadership? In all branches at every level. What about corrupt leadership? Do you just follow them? Do you just go, okay, it's corrupt, do you just go and follow them? Like, what do you do?
You're talking about the military now, not
the military.
Not the denomination. Okay.
Yeah, the military. Lord have mercy. Yeah, we were the military, right? And then when I came in, I came in the old school military. And the old school is a more kinder, friendlier, gentler military, but it was very hardcore. And I was in the Navy, and it was hardcore. And like we had somebody in my boot camp die, and they died. The person was just having chest pains, whatever, and the RDC was like, get up, and they couldn't get up, and they died right there.
Wow.
And that was the kind of mindset of the military when I first came in. If it's not in your sea bag,
wow,
anything dealing with your family, you keep that outside. Just deal with. And what happens? What happens when you have all this pressure? Just you're in a pressurized space, and now you're looking for some way to cope. And if you don't have healthy coping skills, then you need to turn to coping in a negative way because you're just trying to release the pressure. That's why you have they used to call it the liquid lunch in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Lunchtime, everybody just go ahead and get drunk because they're trying to release the pressure.
Were you married when you were in service?
No, I got married 3 years after being in the Navy.
Oh.
Yeah, so yeah.
You were single while you were in the Navy.
Yes, I was. And I did everything, not giving glory to the devil, but yeah, I did all the negative things that a sailor was known for.
They used to say, military, we see military men coming, and the people say, lock up your daughters. And they said, they're from the Navy. And said, lock up the livestock.
Mercy.
So yeah, the Navy had a bad reputation.
Yeah, but when I came in, it was a lot of sexist, racist. It was just a hostile environment.
Toxic, yeah.
They're just super, super toxic. But of course, from what I heard, they cleaned up a lot of the stuff. They cleaned it up. But how do you deal with that as a Christian? What do you do when your values and the values of that time, the military, are not in sync? Then when I learned about the Sabbath, forget about it. When I learned about the Sabbath, now I wouldn't advise anybody to do this. But when I learned about the Sabbath, I wanted them to tell me I had to work on the Sabbath. So I could flip over tables and I could tell her, I wish I would make me work on the Sabbath. But somebody caught me and they said, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Just fill out your paperwork and do it the right way. So I filled out my paperwork and I had no problems on the Sabbath. But I learned that some people, some Christians, Adventists, they don't have a problem working on the Sabbath. While they're in the military. They figure because they signed up, they got to do it. For me, I told my supervisors, unless it's an emergency, unless somebody's life is on the line, don't call me into work on the Sabbath. And the only person that gave me a problem while I was in the military about working on the Sabbath was somebody that was born and raised Adventist.
Are you serious?
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I had a supervisor who was a chief, and he told me, he said, if I got to work on the Sabbath.
He didn't have to, did he?
Say it again.
That was his choice. He chose to work on it.
I mean, and that's why he said it. I mean,
because you want to make me look bad if you're standing to your conviction, and he isn't, I guess.
So get it, Tyler.
Well, that begs the question, Keenan. Should we encourage our children to go into the military or not? I mean, should we encourage them to, or discourage them?
That's a good question. For my son, like my dad served in the military. My dad fought in the Vietnam War, got shot in his hand, had to come home. I served in the military. And so for my son, I do not want him to serve in the military. Of course, you know, he can make his own choices. He's old enough, but I try to tell him stay away from the military.
Why?
Stay away. Because of a few things. When you sign that dotted line, again, you have to, whatever they tell you to do, you got to do. So in my dad's time, he fought in the Vietnam War. You know, what was that war about? You know, was it to protect Americans' freedom? You know, it's for capitalism versus communism. You know, is that our war? Is that our fight? You know, same thing with the Middle East, on and on and on. So you have to make these, does that line up with your values? So it doesn't line up with mine, some of the things that the military does, some of the things that the military does. So I would just abstain from it. I want to be a part of it.
So Jason made this comment that kind of goes along with what you're saying, that the highest value, morals, and ethics in the military are duty, honor, loyalty. All other values are assumed to be taken care of by one's superiors, and thus the military person is operating entirely on faith and trust in their superiors' ethics, morals, and values, because they're going to command you to do what they feel is right, which may not align with what you feel is right. And therefore, there's that quandary that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. If your superior says, we're doing this, and it conflicts with what you want to do, then where do you go?
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
When I think about why people go to the military that I know of, there are a couple of major reasons I hear. One, if say going to college, they cannot afford to go to college, and there are a lot of advantages to kind of building a career, a pretty respectable career, and establishing yourself with some direction. So that's one of the reasons I hear a lot of people encouraging their young people, you know, don't want to go to college, you need to go somewhere. And because, you know, military pays for higher education and can kind of help you, people go into it. The other thing is when someone may lack discipline just in general, and they need that regimented kind of lifestyle where they're actually being, they can kind of develop that skill set of focusing in on something and, you know, kind of having accountability and kind of being not forced, but strongly encouraged to do something. And so when you look at those things, you're like, oh, that can provide high value. But what we're hearing on the other side is that could come at some cost for some individuals.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I've heard that, you know, people join for all types of reasons. You know, I know some people who joined straight after 9/11. 9/11 happened. They went ahead.
Yeah.
They felt a duty to country. So, you know, it's all a number of reasons. I had joined because I had a child, and I had hoop dreams. I want to play basketball, get paid for it, play for the Old Navy basketball team. You know, so that was my sole motivation at the time. But looking back at it, joining the military was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Which is why you don't want your son to join.
No, but for the reason why I didn't have a lot. So the GI Bill, you know, helped me to go to school. The VA loan helped me to buy a home. You know, so for those two reasons right there. Now my son, you know, he gets a discount. He doesn't need that. You know, he doesn't need that being a pastor. So, you know, he doesn't need that. So he don't need to go that route. Nor my daughter, for that matter.
Well, Daddy Warbucks, I hear you.
The daddy got this.
No. But I understand why people do it. Do you meet people from all walks of life? You know, they join for all different reasons. But as a Christian, these are some things that may come your way. And so you're gonna have to deal with it. Does it go against your values or not?
Yeah. So Adriana, who I think you said she's still in, right? She said if you make your stance known from the beginning, they tend to respect it. At least that's what she experienced. And for instance, she was able to maintain being a vegan during basic training because she went in letting them know that this is what I plan to do. This is something. So
yeah, it's a different time now. So I know when I joined in 1999, they would have said, "What? Then you just don't eat." 'So it's a different timing. So it's a little more. It's just different now. Like when I was in boot camp after the person had died, like right after that came with this thing called training timeout. And they like, what's the training timeout? And our RDC's the one who pushed you in boot camp. They said, we don't even know what this is. We guess you could put up a card and say that you had, you had it. It's just too much for you, And that was just coming about, like, because before that they just grind you, just push you to your limits at boot camp, So it might be a little different now than it was back so many years ago, So, but also, the military, it brings on a lot of stress and trauma. Like I'm sure we all know, or maybe know somebody that's got PTSD from the military, So all these different things, they've been put in positions where they had to do certain things that they have nightmares about. It still comes up. So some would say, why even go through all of that? What's the point? Why push yourself to exhaustion and do that for a country that your values may not even line up with? So you also hear that as a Christian as well. Why even go through it? I want to know what are your thoughts about that? So Tally, Latasha, you said why push our kids to do that? But yeah, what would I hear? What are your thoughts? Would you, if somebody came to you say, I'm thinking about going to the military, I go to college or go to the military, I could do either one. What would y'all tell them?
My closest friend, Paul Anderson, was a chaplain in the United States military after he had gone to college, after he had become an ordained Seventh-day Adventist minister. I remember him saying he was going to go into the military. It wasn't something that I would do, but I sure respected the fact that he did it. And I believe that that Miguel was saying that a lot of our guys and women are going into the military now.
I think it was
Gris said it. Okay, yeah. I am noticing that it's a very First of all, they pay better, and the retirement benefits are excellent
for chaplains.
For chaplains,
well, chaplains a different route than.
But it's military.
Yeah, but it's completely different. It's night and day.
They have to do boot camp and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what you want to call it. Yeah. Officer training.
It's officers training. I mean, but the thing is that they are facilitating the process of the military, and the military is designed basically to break things, make noise, and kill people. And I mean, simply put, and so, but a lot of in the old days, Adventist ministers went into the military when they couldn't pastor. Like if they washed out or they didn't have, if people think, well, you don't have what it takes, or if they're upset. Yeah, it was an alternative. But now, chaplaincy is a real calling. But what do you think about? I mean, the idea of you're praying for people to have the skill to kill other people in defense of your country. Is that moral? Now you've been in the military, Keenan. Is that moral?
Yeah, that's a great question. So
I ask those kind.
So you got to ask yourself, right? Does this line up with your morals? Like God.
I'm asking as a military person who's leading this discussion. Is it moral?
No. Well. So here's my. If somebody's trying to hurt somebody, because the Bible says thou shalt not murder, it doesn't say thou shalt not kill. It's
right.
Two different things. So if somebody's trying to hurt somebody, hurt one of my my fellow sailors or soldiers, or whatever, I'm taking them out.
Okay.
I'm taking them out.
Even if your soldiers are, as you say about Vietnam, even if they're fighting an unjust economic war.
If I'm there on the ground, if I'm already there, you got bullets whispering by the because I don't want them to get hurt.
Okay. Now it's the same Bible that says, greater love had no man than he lay down his life for his friends.
So that's why I wouldn't put myself in that predicament.
And that turn the other cheek and
love your enemies.
And love your enemies. So
So
how do we justify that?
But that's what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't put myself in that predicament to begin with.
But you're in the military. The predicament will come to you.
No, that's what I said. I'm talking about me, Tally. I wouldn't put myself there. I wouldn't.
How long were you in the
8 years, 9 months, 17 days.
And what made you leave? Was it that? What we're talking?
Lord made me leave. I went to seminary. I love gave my life to Christ, got serious, and I felt God's calling. And my Sunday church, they was, I don't want to use the word grooming. That's a bad word now, but they was, training me to be a pastor there. And then I just became an Adventist. Then I looked after my military service was over. Then I went to seminary.
I see Adriana, who's and we salute your service, Adriana. I mean, when you say most of them never shot a gun, I thought most military folks had to do some training with firearms.
You do training, but
Yeah.
Now I do know a lot of people that have been in combat. I do.
I know. Look, my goddaughter who lived with me when I was in Baltimore was in combat and over in Desert Storm, and came back with the scars to prove it. I mean, but the Bible promotes war in certain areas. Let me read a passage to you. Psalm 18:34. Blessed is the Lord God who teaches my hands to make war, so that my arms can bend a bow of bronze. I mean, and a lot of our Christian nationalists will quote that passage. And the Bible seems to almost glorify war. I mean, look at David. It brags loudly about Saul has killed his thousands, but David killed his 10,000s.
Yeah,
he marries a woman, and the way he gets to marry her is to bring a dowry of the foreskins of slain Philistines. Is the Bible responsible for glorifying war at times? Hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, no, Pastor. He's about to answer it right now.
Well, for me, again, Tally,
thank you.
When it comes to thou shalt not murder, and let me explain. Thou shalt murder, thou shalt not kill, because some people they get that confused. Murder is God didn't give you permission.
Okay,
right? That's why the commandment says thou shalt not murder. But clearly in the Bible, all through the Old Testament, God told plenty of people to take people out, to kill them. Plenty of people.
Did he?
That's all through the Old Testament.
Give me an example, Keenan.
Give you an example. You just said it with with Israel, the Israelites, when they went to Joshua, when they went to Jericho, take them out. They took them all out.
And that was God saying. God was saying, when you go in there, kill the old men, the old women, the babies at the breast, and the mothers giving suck. And God was giving directions to kill all of these people.
That's what it says. Yeah. He said, no, don't.
All right, Dr. O'Rourke, tell him again.
What did he say?
Everything biblical ain't Christian.
That's what Tally asks these questions about every subject. And I love it because it reminds us.
Right, but I'm saying God didn't hold
the Bible doesn't mean.
Yeah. But I'm saying God didn't hold them. He didn't hold them accountable for doing that. But clearly when think about when Joab killed of Abner and Absalom and the other guy Amasa who was trying to take his place, whatever, that wasn't justified. David didn't justify that. So eventually, Joab, he gets killed. Well, he's murdered. Solomon has him taken out.
So on orders from David on his sick bed, putting out David on his sick bed went straight Godfather. Said, there's some people I want you to handle for me. Yeah. I mean, is that? I mean, the idea of killing in the name of advancing a cause is replete in the Old Testament in particular. When Samuel came along after Saul did not kill Agag, and Agag was kind of sitting comfortably, and Samuel said, just as your sword made women childless, so
I will make your mother.
Yeah. And the Bible says in broad daylight, away from the heat of battle, that Samuel picked up a battle axe and chopped Agag into pieces. Yeah. Was God telling him to do that?
Well, I mean, we don't. It doesn't say that God told him to do that. Don't say that specifically. He just did it.
So, do you think that it was with the instruction? Because it's written in the Bible approvingly. I mean,
don't say that God.
He's answering it right now, President. Yeah.
You know, I don't know what president, but it doesn't say that God disapproved of what Samuel did.
So if you had to parse that text, if you had to exegete it, and you said, now this a war is going on, and they capture Agag as a prisoner of war. Samuel shows up and said, "I thought I told you to kill everybody."
Yeah.
Now this is the kind of stuff that Hamas does.
Mm-hmm.
This is the kind of stuff that the Taliban does. And so, are we saying that this kind of warfare, this spirit of killing as a part of war, that this is God ordained?
What kind of killing? What killing? You talking
Well,
about
I
that?
mean, you got Samuel coming up with a battle axe. The
Well,
man is standing
I
up.
don't see.
He's in handcuffs.
No, right. I don't see God saying anything. He's not saying anything negative about it. He said, like, why did you do that or anything like that? I don't see that. I'm speaking. I don't want to speak with the Bible is silent. It doesn't say that. But I will say this though. I will say this. It just in modern day, if it does not, if you feel like this war does not line up with your morals, like for me, like if it doesn't line up, I'm just not doing it. I'm staying. So after 9/11, which was interesting, after 9/11, now right after 9/11, they came out with a sheet in the Navy, and it says here, are you able to perform something like that? Or it's some question. In other words, if we need you to leave right now to go to the Middle East, are you able to do it? And if you say no, then you got to get processed out. Right? It's just that simple, right? Just that simple. So of course I said yes. I said yes to it. And at that time I wasn't in nobody's church at that time when I said yes to it. But looking back now that I'm gave my life to Christ, if that thing would have came around, I probably would have said no and just let them process me out.
So are we saying that
I can't speak for we? I'm only speaking for me.
Are we just let me just finish that sentence.
Yeah.
Are we saying that unless you agree with going to war, whether you have to do it or not, but it may be a possibility, you should not join the military?
If it goes against your morals, yeah, why would you?
Because some people, we hear some people say, oh, you never, so-and-so was in the military for this many years. They never had to do that. So some people go in thinking it's a slim chance that I'll ever have to do the things that I disagree with.
That is true. But what if you are in that position? What if you put on infantry in the Marines, the Army? What if you put on there? Something's going to happen. You have a high possibility that something's going to happen.
No, I agree. That's one of the reasons why I knew personally that wouldn't be the course for me, just because of I just don't want to be in that position. But yet I do have a high level of respect for those who serve.
Absolutely.
So how do we balance that? I mean, we acknowledge Veterans Day. We know that there are individuals who are ready to serve in that capacity, and in some cases it may be to protect us, right? And at those moments we appreciate it.
You give me an example. How do they protect?
How they're protecting us? Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying if there's an attack on the U.S. and our military is deployed to protect our country,
so if they attack the U.S.,
do we? How do we feel that should be handled? I mean,
I think it's an appropriate act of stewardship to do what is necessary to guard and protect the life that God has given you. That is your first act of stewardship. The question then becomes, how do you push that out beyond yourself? Right now, the President of the United States is saber rattling in the direction of Nigeria.
No, yeah.
In the direction of Nigeria. Huh?
And Venezuela.
And Venezuela, but Venezuela, that's close. But Nigeria, many of us, our descendants, can trace their DNA to Nigeria. And he has all sorts of reasons for saying why he's doing it. But I am wondering, how do we justify the use of force in advance of priorities and values and ideas that may not be justifiable from a spiritual perspective? You know, I'm wondering about that.
I feel like that's the question. That's kind of what and I remember watching some dating show, and
Oh, really?
yeah, and there was a girl
Oh,
who shared
yeah, Andre. She says she watches that show. Oh,
who
your
shared
husband was on the line there.
who, who shared that she formerly served. I've forgotten what armed forces, but she shared that that was part of her history. You know, and as soon as the person found that out, they were no longer interested because they said someone who would enlist and do that was someone that obviously doesn't align with their same more. And I was like, wow, it was such a what I felt was like a very harsh judgment to make. But if this is a values and ethics thing and you're strongly against what the military does, I was like, maybe that was a fair judgment for him to make. Yet she seemed like a really kind-hearted, kind person who wanted to help people, but that was a deal breaker for him.
There's an active duty chaplain on the line right now. Al Johnson is
Yes,
a
Al, what do you
chaplain
say?
in the military. And he says there are considerations and concerns that are different in nuance for those who are enlisted and those who are officers.
Yeah, two different worlds.
Yeah, but
so explain the difference for those who don't know.
All right, so I was enlisted. You know, enlisted and enlisted is a different world from the officers, the chaplains. It's just two. It's two completely like one is the executive branch and one is the workers. You know, so it's just
The office people.
I mean, but it is all the same apparatus. I mean, you are all a part of the same apparatus, correct?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, like for instance, so I can't speak to the officers. That's a whole different world that I cannot speak to. I don't know. It's just different. So I'm speaking from an enlisted, somebody that was enlisted in the Navy.
Like
you know, so I really don't have a frame of reference. I got really secondhand on what it's like to be an officer, but being enlisted is two different things. You know,
tell us about some of those nuances, Al, that you referenced.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important.
Right. But while he's doing that, I will say this though. That's why you have to make that decision before you even join. Because if you're consciously signing a dotted line, saying that you swear in, saying you're gonna do this, that, and the third, you know, that's what you signed up for. Like, why would you sign up? Like, so for me, like I got out. That's part of the reason. But I was like, I'm just getting out. This don't line up with what. You know, this doesn't line up with my ideology. However, I tried to go back in to be a chaplain.
Oh,
because I'm not fighting. I'm just praying.
Right.
I can pray.
Tina said, "I will not shoot anybody. Lord, guide the bullets of those who."
Are those the type of prayers they pray?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Pastor Johnson, he would know. Al Johnson, he would know. But yeah, I tried to go back in as a Navy chaplain. It didn't work out. It didn't work out. Who knows? That's what God had in store. Didn't have that in store for me.
I recall, one of the clearest addressing of military activity is found in Luke 3, where soldiers come before John the Baptist, and the soldier said, "What shall we do?" And I would have thought that John the Baptist said, "Well, you need to get out like Kenan and go to seminary, something like that." But instead, he says, "Don't intimidate anybody. Don't lie on people and accuse them falsely, and be content with your wages so that you're not, becoming using graft as a way to make it. In other words, be just and towards the way you treat other people." I am wondering, is there such a thing as just war? Stutz Terkel wrote a book called The Just War. Is there such a thing as a just war, a war that God would declare righteous, where God would be on the side of one or the other?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Was World War II a just war? That's what the book was about, World War II, the just war. But was World War II a just war?
I mean, because of Hitler, you're saying? Because
Hitler, the Axis powers, and the
Yeah.
imperialism of Germany and Japan and
Yeah.
Italy, the fascism.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
that be considered a just war?
Yeah. I could definitely see that. It looks like it. It sounds like it. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But that's for the individual to make, right? So the individual.
Well, I think sometimes the community has to say something. You know, I mean, the community has to, you know, offer an opinion on these things.
Well, like Vietnam. So Vietnam, that's clear to me. Like that was unjust. That's clear.
Mhm. Yeah,
You know?
but your people were dying, and like you said, Keenan, if my people over there dying, I'm taking them out.
Yeah, if somebody, well, that's for not even war or overseas, but if somebody's trying to hurt,
Period.
if somebody's trying to hurt anybody, just I feel like I have to try to do something to stop it.
All right, good to know. Ms. Rosalie brought up the point about how it was different during the draft. You know, there was a time where you didn't volunteer. You were just everybody who was eligible was automatically enlisted, and she was sharing that her late husband was a Vietnam vet, but he was trained as a medic.
Yeah.
And all right, what Jason was saying here, for the enlisted military service is a trade of conscience for economic, educational, and social benefits. And that's what I was sharing in terms of a lot of the people that I know who went into the service, it was for those benefits. It was for what you talked about, Keenan, the
GI Bill, VA.
yeah, to be able to own a home and all the other quote unquote perks that come with it. Not necessarily within mind of I'm ready to fight for my country no matter what it takes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do want to flip it just a little bit. This it is a great mission field though. I tell you that.
That's good. Okay.
The military is a great mission field. I never forget was this guy. When I was out there, just being a sailor doing what sailors do. This guy used to work
what sailors do?
Oh, everything, you name it.
No.
It's like what they do.
Cussing, drinking, womanizing, you name it. You name it. So it was this guy named Nick Nitelli. I'll never forget. And he got.
That sounds too close, Nick Titelli. I mean, that's too close.
And so he got assigned to our ship. He was working with us as an electrician, and he brought his Bible with him everywhere he went. Every job he carried his Bible in a big old aircraft carrier. 2,000 to 3,000 people. He carried his Bible every job. Instead of he carried a tool bag and a Bible, right? And when we saw Nick, was like, "Oh, here come Nick. Oh man, we can't talk about what we did the other day. Oh, well, here come Nick." But he just was so persistent, kept inviting us to church, and I eventually wound up going to his church for a little bit, and then when I gave my life to Christ, it got serious, I was just witnessing the people left and right, and it's just such a great mission field. So that is one positive I could definitely say about the military that I appreciate it. Get the chance to speak to people from different backgrounds, different walks of life. Just a true mission field.
I was thinking about that, and there's services, like were you were deployed anywhere? Did you have to?
What? Say what now? Huh? So out of my 8 years, you got to edit this out, Latasha. Out of my 8 years, 9 months and 17 days, the most I did out to sea, like all together, was probably like all maybe a month altogether.
Okay.
Because the 2 ships that I was on was in the shipyard, so they was getting overhauled, and it takes an aircraft carrier about 3 years to get overhauled.
Wow.
Because it's nuclear power, so it's very delicate.
But like when you guys are deployed, like there's like a service. So isn't there opportunity for like?
Yeah, everybody. So those workups, and from what I was told, when you go on like 6 and 7 month, 9 month cruises, it's just like what you hear being in prison. Everybody finds the Lord, so the services are packed.
That's okay.
So it's a great witnessing great. When I became an Adventist, I wasn't even an Adventist. I went to a church a few times, the Adventist church a few times. And I was like, man, I'm gonna wind up joining this church. So they heard that I went to visit an Adventist church, and the Adventist asked me to lead out the worship services. I had no idea what I was doing. Oh man, I feel sorry for those who I had no idea what I was doing. I don't know what I was reading from, but I didn't join the church. I wasn't a member of the church at that time, but I let out the service. So and I heard Robert Best. I don't know, y'all know Pastor Robert.
Oh
Best?
yeah, Pastor Best.
Mhm.
So eventually, when I got my act together and I started teaching, getting serious, then the people I was witnessing to, when I left, then he came behind me and was witnessing to those.
Really?
Those yeah. Some of them joined the church.
What?
As well.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wrestle. You know, I would prefer not to have to kill anyone. But I would also prefer not to somebody trying to kill me. Al Johnson made mention of the fact that people who wrestle with the idea of having to engage in war and so forth. I grew up on the streets of Philly where we had different kinds of wars, but we had them, and you could get dead. I mean, but the idea of joining a force where you may have to kill somebody is someone else asked, how would you advise your members? It's a conscientious thing. I mean, my friend Paul, you know, I have the highest regard and respect for him. And I hung out with him in Japan for a while he was in active duty. And I learned to respect the military. I mean, I really did.
Yeah.
And to accept the fact that the military is necessary, like the police force, and that somebody needs to have a gun because somebody else might have one. And I accept that, but still, I just wonder how we steer our people when it comes to their values, their priorities, and their principles.
Yeah, that's why that's an individual thing. You have to follow your conscience. You know, how's the Holy Spirit leading you? Because everybody's different. You know, I spoke to different people in the military, different Adventists. They say again, like they said, they don't have a problem with doing anything on the Sabbath. You know, because in the military, they signed up for this, and they don't see a problem with
They
it.
see it as service, just like
Yeah, and that's
like being a cop, you know. So,
yeah.
So you know, so everybody, you gotta take that to the Lord. You know, that's an individual thing.
You realize, I mean, one of the things that I was shocked, a guy named Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman taught a class in the military called Killology. He wrote a book on it. Yeah. Killology. And the reason why, Tasha, is that they discovered in World War I that 2 out of 10 people, that only 2 out of 10 people would willingly aim their weapons at another human being and pull the trigger. That 80% of the people would shoot over the head of someone because human beings are not designed. We're not wired that way to hurt that which resembles us. The numbers went up some in World War II, something like 50 to 60% would kill, but 40% still would not. But in the Gulf War and Desert Storm, it is now 90% are willing to kill.
My God.
And the reason why they've discovered the reason why is video games.
Ooh,
because video games train you to become desensitized.
Yes.
Remember when a target used to be concentric circles, a circle and a circle and a circle. And they realized, wait a minute, we got to change that. So they started making targets shaped like a man.
Yep.
That increased it. But video games have a person running and talking and looking just like a regular human, and you get to blow their head off, and it's fun. Yeah, and now. Yeah, now these kids, they go in the military, they want to shoot somebody.
That is true.
And so we're becoming desensitized. War is changing us.
Yeah, when I went to MEPS, and MEPS is the hospital doctor, you have to see doctors before you get, to get cleared to join. And I was in a van with a guy, he clearly just shaved his head off. And he had a look on him like he just wants to kill somebody.
See.
You know, like he's like it looked like he was just joining just to kill.
Yeah.
You know,
That's scary.
and, I mean, like you could see it in his eyes. But yeah, some people that's what they want to do.
That's why they join, because they want permission to kill.
Yeah.
Going back to circling back, because I had asked Al to tell us a little bit more. So he describes himself as a reserve chaplain, meaning they care for all, they provide for religious tradition, and they facilitate other religious traditions and advise commanders and leadership.
Al is Buddhist now?
Yeah, so they're not picking up a weapon.
Right.
And
everybody's saying.
Armor bearer. And most of a lot of them got an armor bearer.
Hey, say, Al, if you because you know, even if you're reserved, they can call you up to active duty. Al, if you were in a theater of war, active duty, and your camp was being overrun by the enemy, would you pick up a weapon?
I don't even know if they train chaplains to pick up weapons.
The word of God.
I mean, they may not train you.
You gotta go pray, man.
As a chaplain, Keenan, if you were in a theater of war and the enemy was coming, would you pick up a weapon?
See, I don't know what the rules are for the chaplains. To be honest with you, I'm serious. I don't know if they're trained for that.
That's a good question.
I don't know, because I think they have an armor bearer. And I could be wrong, especially in combat. They have an armor bearer. But for me, yeah, I'm picking it up. Absolutely.
I think you established that pretty.
Yeah.
Havis, are you listening to this, Havis?
We don't train or qualify.
See,
right.
and Al,
I
can tell Al this because Al, I'm Uncle Tally. I ain't ask you that, Al. I didn't ask you what you trained for. I asked you what you would do. Would you pick up a weapon? My RP would have the weapon. Didn't ask you who got it. I asked you, would you pick up a weapon?
You don't have to answer, Al. It's okay.
This is Uncle Tally talking to you. Answer me, boy.
I'm gonna call you after the show. It's okay.
Yeah. Another aspect of this is just veterans, right? So a lot of veterans that have PTSD, especially they've been in combat. And I know the question comes up: what can a church do? What can a church do? Really and truly, somebody experiencing PTSD, just try to help them to get help them to see somebody. Try to get them to see somebody. All you can do is just listen to them. That's it. That's really it. Nobody needs to play therapist. Yeah. Just listen to them and refer them. Try to help them to get help, because you don't know what would trigger them. Yeah. I know some people who were triggered by just loud noises.
Clapping. Car backfiring. Anything that resembles.
O'Rourke just shared some information that it is against the Geneva Convention for a chaplain, and that they're not weapon trained. Respectfully,
that's why I'm not a chaplain.
Yeah, well, we know that we know that David is ready to take off the head of Goliath over there. But the question isn't whether or not because the Geneva Convention ain't there. You're in your compound and the enemy is overrunning you. As a chaplain, do you just kneel down and say,
just go in the corner and pray.
Or now there's a weapon there. As a chaplain, do you say, the Geneva Convention doesn't allow me to pick this up, and therefore, I'm just wondering, yeah.
Well, he can't answer that question, man.
Oh, everybody can answer it. There's no right answer, no wrong answer. It's just your answer.
Here's a scenario that Miss Rosalie shares with us. Her husband requested the arms training after the enemy invaded his MASH unit and shot at him. So now it's like, because I know this can happen, I want to be able to defend myself should it happen again. He requested the training. Fortunately, he didn't have to use it, but is that okay to say, I don't want to be in a situation where somebody is attacking me and I'm not prepared? Because we do that personally.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt anybody, but I do know how to shoot.
Right. So, and that's how some people.
I don't want nobody else to get hurt.
Right. I would. I'm like David. But look, I'll write a song and be crying, but you be dead. And so I advise you not to come breaking into my house.
Come on.
You know, but
Mm.
I tell you a story now about my dearest friend, a man that I love with my whole heart, who was a veteran, and that is Pastor William E. Hall.
That's right. Yeah.
Bill Hall joined the Army because he was drafted, went into the military, told him he was a conscientious objector, that he would not pick up a weapon to kill his fellow man.
Hmm.
And they said, "Are you sure?" Yes. And so he became a corpsman. He became a medic, and he would not pick up a weapon rather. And one night, the enemy broke through the perimeter and overran their compound. Bill said that he could see the tracer bullets going past his head.
Woo.
He can hear them. He saw some of his friends getting taken out. The next day, he went to his lieutenant and said, "I want the biggest gun y'all got."
That's what I'm saying. All it takes is being shot, you know?
Yeah.
Your mind changes real quick. It's like, I never want to feel this helpless again. You know, that's not your, you know, you don't want to start it, but you don't, you know, you want to finish it in some ways.
Behold the practical wisdom of one Dr. J. A. Rourke. He says, legally, no, but practically, I understand.
Yeah.
What's that for? I didn't catch that. For what?
That's from, as a chaplain, would you pick up a weapon?
Oh,
legally, you're not supposed to.
Mhm.
But, you know,
Yeah.
when you're coming through and trying to ventilate my Southern anatomy, I might get some other ideas about it.
Yeah. Or even, again, for me, if I know you're trying to hurt somebody,
Yeah.
like, and I know that I could have done something to prevent it, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
If I know
Same
somebody got hurt and I could have done something to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. I put up there Jason's recommendations too about what can the church do, and it made me think about also a large, I'm not sure the percentage, but there's a percentage of veterans who are homeless.
Yes.
And I think I remember someone going out and interviewing several homeless people. Many of them shared that they once served, and at the end of it, a lot of them suffering from PTSD, had a lot of mental health challenges, weren't able to get employment, didn't feel like they were receiving proper benefits or care from the government, and they found themselves on the streets. And a lot of times people just assume that everyone they pass by on the street is someone that doesn't want to work, doesn't care about themselves. And that's not the case. Sometimes they're people who have served their country for several years, but due to some of the effects or just how life lines up for them once they get out, they're not able to, regain a sense of livelihood.
Yeah, the VA trying to do a better job from what I'm told. They're trying to, I know in Hampton, in Hampton VA, they do a lot of great work with veterans down in Hampton.
To make sure they are able to re-enter.
You have to get resources and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I feel like that's a shame for people to serve that many years, and then when they come out, life for them goes downhill.
Yeah, and then there was a time it was so hard to get help from the VA. You know, so much red tape. You have to jump through so many hoops. Like I know a few people who are combat veterans, and they still don't have 100% disability. And I'm like, how is that even possible? You know, that's a shame. You know, but they're supposedly they're trying to make it better, easier to get help.
War is humanity distorting. And I close with this. A friend of mine, whose name I will not mention, who was a Seventh-day Adventist pastor, had served in Vietnam. So nobody would think it wasn't Bill Hall. And I mean, this is a good friend of mine. He had served in Vietnam, and we were talking. And you know, people who really been in stuff, they talk slowly. They don't. If somebody's boasting about it, more than likely he was a file clerk. But this guy had been frontline, run reconnaissance, and he said there was one time that they were doing reconnaissance, and they was scoping out the enemy. This is a guy. He was an Adventist pastor. He said, and as they were trying to make their way back, 3 kids saw them, And they said they knew that if those kids went back to the village,
Oh,
the
no,
kids would reveal
no.
that where they were. And I
Mm.
said, "What'd you do?" He said, "We grabbed all 3 of them and slit their throats."
I,
He was not,
uh,
you can't be the same after that.
no, you can't.
Only grace can pull you from that. And so,
Mm.
it is war and violence is distorting to the human spirit.
Mhm.
And we have to be mindful of that with our members, our family members, and our friends who put on uniforms and take orders to possibly be in a position to hurt individuals that they don't even know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's chilling. I mean,
It was, I felt for him. I looked at him differently, not because I treated him different. I looked at him different because I realized he'd been through something that I could only dimly understand.
and he
I
still
can only
probably
dimly.
remembers that image.
Oh
so
yeah,
vividly in
yeah.
his
He
mind that
remembers that, and when he sees a kid, a young kid running around playing, he remembers that.
Mm.
Yeah. My dad, he would never talk about Vietnam. Never.
That's what Daphne just shared that too. So
Yeah,
there are some who won't speak of it because it's just too horrific.
yeah.
Mhm.
Look, Bill Hall and I were friends for over 50 years. He talked about Vietnam twice.
Mm.
I mean, when I say friends, everybody knows how close I was. These things are horrifying. War is horrifying.
Mhm.
And when people make a choice to put on a uniform, we have to respect it and realize that they may
Oh,
go
yeah.
through something that distorts them afterwards.
Yeah. It's real. It's real. As a therapist, I dealt with a few people with PTSD, and it's real. It's like, oh my goodness, hear these stories. It's real.
Mm-hmm. For
Yeah.
sure. Well, I don't know if we helped anybody who was in the valley of decision regarding this
Just
choice,
have a conversation. That's all.
but it's enough to help you consider both sides, I would say. Maybe.
I think I'm going to join.
You think so?
Yeah, I think you just made. How old are you?
This is my 70th year.
Oh yeah. They may have a waiver for you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can get in there, and
Space.
somebody needs to drive that truck.
Yeah, it's not a Space Force, man. Space
Yeah.
Force. Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah. Did you ever see a UFO while you were out?
My wife thinks she did. She think it was one over our house in Virginia Beach.
Yeah. No, you look. There's something to be said about that phenomenon. It's.
I'm not discounting it for sure.
I think we might need to do a show on that sometime.
UFO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You watching some videos, huh, Tal?
I interviewed the guy who was the head of the Pentagon department investigating UAPs.
Men in Black.
Yeah, I mean, and the stories he told me. Let me tell you, I mean, his name is Elizondo, Luis Elizondo. He's been on 60 Minutes, everything. If you listen to his stories, you know, there's something happening that we don't know about, that we don't understand. I see Keenan agreeing, but it's true. See, now when the light beam hits and Keenan starts floating up, then he won't be grinning no more.
Mhm.
But there's something going on. That
Now we gotta have a show on UFO.
I'm telling you, hey O'Rourke, I'm telling you, man. Look, everybody, look up the name Luis, Luis Elizondo, Elizonda, Luis Elizondo. He was the head of the Pentagon department that was charged with secretly investigating UFOs. And
Spell it again, Tally. I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
LUIS.
Is it unclassified?
A lot of it isn't. There were certain things he couldn't tell me. LUIS and the last name ELIZONDA, Elizondo. I interviewed him 3 times, and trust me, he's a very serious man. Last letter is O.
Oh, it is O.
Very serious. But if you get that far, you'll get him. Believe me, there is something out there that we just don't understand, and I don't know how to explain it, but it is out there.
That's why I tell you, join SpaceX, man. You know?
Well, look this up. This may explain a lot for some people.
Yeah.
Okay. And also I want to mention some of you, we asked you to share some topics you want to hear from. I saw a couple. One mentioned the movies. We may do that one in one of our like round robin discussions where we just hit a bunch of topics. And then there was another one where someone wanted us to talk about divorce and remarriage. They said we've talked about divorce before, but they want us to go a little deeper in when you remarry and what that's like. So we'll look to cover that as well. But also please share. Now we've added UFOs to the list.
See, everybody laughing. That's not everybody.
Here we go. We're gonna talk about it. And then another show that came up this week that I know we're definitely gonna do is on addiction. And I don't want to tie the two together, but even a lot of veterans dealing with the PTSD find themselves self-medicating with alcohol, drugs, just to numb some of the pain, numb some of the, just not to have to think about it. But then there are other addictions. We're going to talk about addictions beyond drug and alcohol, social media, shopping, pornography, some of the things that we don't really want to classify as addictions, but as we talk about them, we'll learn that we have some of our own addictions that we need to cover. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So yeah, the year is wrapping up, but we still have a few strong weeks that we want to use to cover topics that you want to talk about.
Christmas is upon us, and we'll be talking about pornography.
Why did I pull that one out? Why can't you say shopping, Tally?
Why did that one jump out to you, Sally?
I can't win this one.
Yeah.
Addiction is real.
Yeah.
Thank you to all our veterans. Yeah. Definitely.
After y'all said all that stuff.
Yeah, look, it's
all that stuff. He said number of positive.
And I'm not saying I think we do still honor all of our veterans. I just don't want anyone to feel like we are judging someone's choice to partake in the military, even if some of us feel that it may conflict morally. I just wanted to emphasize two things can exist at once. I just don't want anyone to feel like we were speaking against their choice to be a part of it and
pave the way for me.
And I hope every veteran gets 100% disability. If you do not,
if they're disabled,
if you put in the time, you deserve it. Right?
If you're disabled,
can I finish?
Wait, I was gonna say, are you saying anybody? Just anybody?
Let's hear me out. If you're having problems with your VA, I know some companies that can help out. So just reach out to me, DM me. I will share those companies in a heartbeat. But yeah, if you have a problems getting your rating up to some, just hit me up.
If they're disabled.
I said, don't claim them benefits if you don't deserve them, huh?
Yeah. Of course, Tally, if you're disabled, obviously.
Yeah, no, but you said I hope every veteran gets disability.
Yeah, I think every veteron came out with something. You
got some loopholes.
You didn't come out with anything, Keenan.
No, I didn't say anything about loopholes.
You came up with a VA loan and a GI Bill.
I don't know who's watching this, but everybody get what's owed to them. That's all I'm gonna say.
Bless his heart.
Oh me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, I walk with a limp. I walk with a limp there. You know that. I walk with a limp. Everybody, I do have a limp from the military.
That was from playing basketball, folks.
Hey, Tally, come on now.
Basketball. That was a basketball injury.
Tally, work with me.
So now we have to be specified. As long as you're disabled from being in the military. Okay, I got it. All right. But no, thanks guys for this discussion. And once again, we do salute all of our veterans. We'll see you back here next week for another lively discussion. Same time, same place. Yeah. Have a great one, everybody.
Look out for those UFOs.
Mercy, help us.